Hello, everybody. Scott Golden here with the WCW Saturday Night Review Series. We have entered the year of 1993, specifically January 9th, 1993. If you're new here, we've got over 1,200 audios from old school, new school series such as Mid South Wrestling, World Class Championship Wrestling. We started Smoky Mountain. We're eventually going to go back there, but I found these WCW Saturday Nights, hadn't seen them since original air date, and so something 25 years old when wrestling was actually good. Definitely worth going out of your way to see. Also, if you're looking for life, business, relationship coaching, would love to be of assistance to you there. And so you can go to my main channel, Golden Opportunities Coaching, for that. We open with Marcus Bagwell versus Bob Cook here. Really basic match, nothing to write home about. Bagwell basically keeps the match on the mat for the majority of the first several minutes with arm bars, arm locks, hammer locks. Short comeback, or I guess you'd say heel segment from Cook, who is a really underrated enhancement talent for the time, or any time actually. Bagwell comes back finally. Looks really good at the time. Bagwell kind of finds himself later, within about 3 or 4 months, with his first major tag team with, of course, Too Cold Scorpio, which ends up being good for him, not so much for Scorpio. I think it was a waste of Scorpio, but super basic match, misses a clothesline and eventually gets the perfect plex. Not called that in this era. Certainly, Mr. Perfect is not that individual, but anyway, Bagwell gets a victory there. Then we get some highlights of a match from, I believe, Worldwide, which was their B show at the time, Saturday Night Worldwide, their major shows, and then you got Main Event, I think was their other show. Anyway, round one, Bad versus Wyndham in the U.S. title tournament actually was from Saturday night that we covered last week is the highlight of this moment. I know there's another highlight later. Then we kind of see some hype for the championship, the second championship run of Big Van Vader, of course, beating Ron Simmons on the 30th, I believe, of December 1992. So by this point, about 2 weeks before, just about. Anyway, in Baltimore, Maryland, Vader, they basically do a handheld. Vader takes shots at Simmons. Simmons does have some power early and tackles him, Vader sends him to the outside, and then works over the shoulder. Harley Race interferes on his behalf as well a time or two, and Vader is your new, after working over the shoulder, is your new world champion for the second time. Vader basically focuses immediately on Sting, kind of acknowledges Ron Simmons as a big deal, but focuses more on moving towards Sting and other challengers. So obviously, Simmons was a transitional champion. I actually saw a thread on the message board not too long ago, or actually within the past couple of days, about could Ron Simmons have been more. I think in 1992, 1993, he could have been more. I think Mike Tyson was still a pretty big deal at the time, and having a African American professional wrestling champion alongside the run of Mike Tyson would have been an interesting combination. Anyway, Vader and Van Hammer, yes, that is as ugly as it sounds, is a match here. Or actually, no, not Vader and Van Hammer. I saw a clip of Vader and had written Vader and Van Hammer in my notes, but actually Van Hammer just in a enhancement challenge match here. Power by Van Hammer. Van Hammer was pushed heavier in '92 than he was in '93. He's still here, at least through the first half of '93, because he's still here in April, and that's where I am in my viewing pleasure. Shoulder tackles, clotheslines, back elbows, and the like. Eventually, the slingshot suplex and a rather weak-looking high knee by Van Hammer. Van Hammer, of course, in an enhancement match, gets a win. Van Hammer talks about wanting to take care of Tony Atlas once and for all again. Basically says he's going to raise the bass, raise the treble. He talks to Tony Schiavone in the locker room, and unfinished business there. They also plug the upcoming Thunder Cage 8-man tag team match, at which Van Hammer will be part. So he was seen as a major babyface at the time. Enhancement talent match as Johnny Gunn and the Z-Man Tom Zink are in an enhancement position. Tag team pushed pretty strongly here. Amazingly, bookers must change sometime around late January, early February, because a bunch of new talent comes in at the time that wasn't here now, and some other guys fade. Johnny Gunn is a guy they stick to for maybe 6 months, maybe a little less, but we see guys like Zink managing to do a lot of sidestep work. I think Zink was put with him to train Gunn. Sunset flip attempt by the enhancement talent, and they do the roll through, a really awkward bridging attempt. It does not work. Doesn't go over well. Deep arm drags and the like, and eventually Gunn and Zink do get the victory after working the arm for several minutes. Side headlock takeovers and other such things before Gunn finally grabs a pinfall with the nature of the Fez Press, which is their main finish anyway. Regardless, another plug for the Clash of Champions. Cactus Jack promising to get rid of Eric Watts. Cactus Jack also promising to help Tony Atlas handle things once and for all. Also, we see a continued push for Too Cold Scorpio. Scorpio in the ring doing the juke dive and dance and run all around. He's doing the rap deal, and Scorpio could have been so much more in 1993, I think. Fans already pulling up signs and putting up signs that say that he will be a future tag team champion. I assume those are planted signs. Mustafa Saeed of ECW fame is his opponent, which strikes me as odd because they would feud quite a bit later, at least 95, 96 in ECW, Gangsters and Scorpio and various tag team partners, not limited to Taz. Anyway, super kick style move by Scorpio, leg slap included, all the way back here in 1993. So the people that complain about the leg slaps, well, they were here, 25 plus years ago, 28 plus years ago, whatever it is. To think that Raw will have been around for 30 years in a couple of years just makes me really, really sad. Anyway, because to me the best part of wrestling was the pre-Raw era. Anyhow, Scorpio with a springboard clothesline off the apron, which is amazing for the time period. I remember being an 11, 12-year-old kid being really impressed by Scorpio at the time. Had not seen much of the Japanese style. Scorpio hits the 450 splash, 1, 2, 3, victory he gets. And then basically we see a long-form interview detailing the heel turn of Barry Windham. Windham basically says no one gave him credit. Windham says that no one's going to pick him up and that he's been associated with Dusty Rhodes for far too long. He's not happy with that decision. He's not happy with virtually anything in his life, but he's now going to be, although he doesn't turn himself this bit of a lone wolf, and he's going to go after championships for himself now. He eventually does pick up the NWA Championship in the month to come. Then they call this a bullies match. Tex Slazenger and Shanghai Pierce against Vinny Vegas and Diamond Dallas Page. Not exactly understanding the concept of this match. Shanghai Pierce and Dallas Page pair off early, power moves, and all the heels are in one area here. So basically what you're going to see is a bunch of cheating, a bunch of brawling. Tex Slazenger and Vinny Vegas going at it for a little bit. Vegas hits a gut wrench suplex, which just basically looks like a roll in midair at that point because there's very little impetus behind Vegas caring a lot about what he's doing. Attempted spinning toe hold type maneuver by the Texans on Dallas Page. Keeps him down for several minutes. Does not keep him down permanently, however, and ultimately attempted to square off hard shots and continued work on the legs by the Texans. They cut Dallas Page off in their corner for quite a bit, and kind of just an idea of filling time, I would imagine, because I can't imagine either team is going to get a whole bunch of, chaos. The match breaks down into all four men fighting, hanging with the bull rope on one side. The referee declares the match a bit of a double count out slash disqualification, and even Tex Slazenger hits one man with a chair. Then we go to an up close interview with Vader. Vader plugs the fact that he wants to get at it with Sting, plugs the fact he's a former Super Bowl and collegiate football champion. Says now is the time to take things to a whole nother level. Now is the time to take Vader's championship reign to a whole nother level, and he is certainly excited about that. Really good sit down interview with Vader. Things I didn't know about his collegiate football career and his pro career. Did not know that he won the Super Bowl, but I am not a person that regularly follows football, so I wouldn't have reason to know. Dustin Rhodes and Tony Atlas, a match I didn't know I didn't want to see until I saw it. At this point, Dustin's got maybe 5 years in, and Atlas has a bunch more than that. They just don't mesh well. There is a heck of a forearm though by Rhodes, and he gets a near fall off that. Arm drags and basic stuff by Rhodes. I will say Tony does bump around for him, although Dustin misses some drop kicks. The timing between the two is just off. Not a match worth going out of your way to see unless you're a completist like me. And so, Tony tries to wear Dustin down, doesn't get all he wants on that. Meanwhile, Cactus Jack is there with him. Tony Atlas, as a heel at this time, was just very discombobulated. Of course, I don't know if he'd been through his homeless period yet. I think that was a few years before. And then Dustin eventually does get a victory here. Again with the Bulldog, and again Dustin Rhodes advances once again in the U.S. title tournament. Then we see the next match in the U.S. title tournament, and that is Ricky Steamboat and Barry Windham. Of course, just weeks before, Windham had turned on Douglas and Steamboat after their unified tag team championship match. Steamboat and Windham have a really good match here. Steamboat falls prey to Windham's brawling tactics early. Windham tries to work over the arm, also uses a lot of heavy punches. Good psychology match here. Windham tries to even use the ring apron, which at the time was novel. It's not done every match like it is these days. And then Steamboat finally turns things back to his direction, drops the knee and a bunch of arm bars and the like on Barry or by Barry Windham. Windham there hits a couple of shots and sends Steamboat into the ring apron along the way, and hard shots there by Windham. Windham manages to slow the match down again, although the damage done by Steamboat to its arm is pretty intense. Figure 4 at one point by Windham. Windham with a figure 4 on a guy at 6'6" looks pretty impressive even at this time. Windham, though, has gained a bunch of weight. Finally, Steamboat able to break out of the submission hold maneuver attempt, but they go back to a bit of a brawling deal for a couple of minutes. That gives Steamboat an advantage, but Steamboat locks in a figure 4 of his own. Referee goes to the outside due to some miscommunication, and it's a hard go here. Steamboat back on the top rope hits the crossbody, and there is no official for the moment. Steamboat is put in a difficult position here. Wondering where the referee is. Not happy with that. Meanwhile, Steamboat gets thrown over the top rope into the floor, which I believe is still a disqualification. They go back into the ring, and then we see, the attempted DDT on the floor. Match is led to what seems to be a non-finish here. Then we see Hollywood Blonde. Well, later on, the Hollywood Blondes, Pillman and Austin, attacking, Pillman and Austin attacking Shane Douglas, while Steamboat is on the outside. Meanwhile, Rhodes and Wyndham going at it. All sorts of chaos. We close the show with Pillman and Austin talking about how they want to be the next great tag team, going to be the next great tag team, and going to take out Pillman and, or I'm sorry, Steamboat and Douglas in the weeks and months to come. That's that, and we'll be back with more right after this.